Talk about playing a character that's alive and they're on the set with you. If
Yeah, it could be dodgy with that because you could get the person just being unhappy with who they've cast and
right.
not liking seeing what I'm doing and stepping up after every take and saying, Christian, what are you doing? That's not how I would have done it. And I wasn't sure if that was how it was going to be, and it couldn't be further from it. You know, Dickie was really supportive, and I mean, he was picking things apart and why are they doing that, and that didn't happen quite like that, and that was years apart, but having to explain it, right, 2 hours, you got to fit all those years into 2 hours, you got to take some license. But it was nothing like it. I wish I could do it on every single movie.
Dickie had a lot of demons, but I think always it looked like in the movie that no matter what, he wanted Mickey to do well, even though he had all these demons behind him and he would be late.
Yes. I think that much of that was that he had this, he'd been brought up to be the star of the whole family. Mickey was never considered that would ever be a possibility, and Dickie had achieved, fighting with Sugar Ray Leonard by the age of 21. He'd been fighting hundreds of fights by the time he stepped in the ring at 21. Very skilled, natural fighter, but, just ultimately his vices caught up with him. He was somebody who was able to drink and then jump in the ring and win. But ultimately, once he started on the crack, that was the end of that. And then he made a genuine transformation, and he had to lead the rest of the family in saying, "Hey, he's no longer the Big Show anymore. It's got to be Mickey."
Dickie had this accent, but it was more than just a Boston accent. You nailed
it was his own thing. It was his own thing. It was Dickanese. That's what it is. He doesn't speak English. He speaks Dickanese. And I was doing less than he does. We would have to subtitle the whole thing. Nobody would have understood anything I was saying if I'd have done it exactly like Dickie does.
You just have to be around him a lot to pick it up. How did you?
You got to be around him a lot just to understand initially. He's got his own words for certain things, and we'd be on the phone. Literally, the first couple of times we spoke on the phone, I understood some of it, but. And then he'd be saying to me, "Yeah, we got a deal, great." And I'd be going, "I don't know what I'm committing to." But then your ear gets in, and I spoke Dickanese fluently by the end. Yeah.
How about losing weight? I know you've done it several times in movies. Anything different on this particular the way you went?
Just with the boxing. With this one, it was getting in the ring with Dickie, and just kind of the fat, coming off me right there in the ring.
Speaking of boxing, I read that you hadn't done it before. Talk about the natural instinct when you're getting hits to fight back, but you had to take a step back.
I'd done martial arts and everything, but I like with everything to go in it as though I don't know anything and just learn it from scratch. And also, I'm learning a fighting style that wasn't naturally how I wanted to fight, so I had to learn that from Dickie. But, he was a master at it, he just being kind of like a cat, he would be there and devastatingly effective, but then just almost not there when anyone else is trying to punch him.
Your most satisfying role, is it because it took so long to get it done, and then when you finally did it, you realized the exact goal you wanted to do with it?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it would make for a really great movie. There was so much there to Mickey's story, his struggle, as well as a fascinating boxing career. And, for my own selfish reasons, always wanting to be an athlete more than anything as a kid. I got to play Vince Papale in Invincible, and now I'm playing Irish Mickey Ward, who was one of my heroes growing up, so.
It's very authentic. Obviously, you shoot in Lowell, but also you got hit in the movie, too?
Yeah. No, we hired real boxers. We wanted to make it real, It had all been done before in boxing movies, so the only thing that hadn't been done was to shoot it exactly the way the fights were shot and the way you see fights on HBO, hire real boxers and get in there and just do it.
8 to 10 hour workouts, and you're watching Manny. Is that part of it?
Yeah. I lived it, breathed it, but it was fun, and then it was frustrating because obviously the movie would be a go and then it would fall apart. But I just had to will it to happen, and all that training paid off because I wanted to look like a boxer who could win the title, not an actor who could look pretty good in the ring.
I was talking to a media member who actually knows Dickie, and he said the opening scene he thought he was watching Dickie. He didn't think it was an actor in the very beginning. Just talk about Christian, how he nailed that role.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he would be perfect when I saw him at my daughter's school. I remembered immediately what he did in The Machinist and what he did in Rescue Dawn, and if he responded to the material, that he could tear it up, and he did immediately. And Mickey and Dickie were living at my house for quite some time, so we had a lot of time to be able to spend with him and really study them. And he just killed it.
Hit the body, hit the head. I mean, that's basically how you win the girl in the beginning of the movie, and also how you win the belt at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It just resonates in the entire movie.
Yeah, and you know what? many people would come to my house because I have the ring there. Some you would have to coax into the ring. Some people would beg to get in there. And every time I got them to take a knee, or every time they went down, was when I hit them to the body. Yeah.
Tell me this: did you really gain all that weight for for those scenes? I mean, you
Yeah.
you ate up and
Yeah.
you just went to town.
Well, what happens was we shot the movie, and then I was shooting the other guys, so I had 8 months to stuff my face. I put on 30 pounds. We shot those scenes where I was heavier, and then they were like, look, we should probably do a couple of pickups for the last fight, so that meant me losing the weight again.
Right.
And I only had 5 weeks to do that, but at least there was some light at the end of the tunnel, and I knew that we were onto something special, so it made it easier to get back into the gym.